Addiction begins the moment your brain learns to chase what never arrives. Most people think addiction is about substances, powder, pills, needles, chemicals. But the most powerful addictions don't require any of them. They begin with a spark, a notification, a like, a compliment, a win, a message, a possibility. He once refreshed a page again and again without knowing why. It wasn't desire. It wasn't impatience. It was anticipation. Addiction isn't built from pleasure. It's built from the gap between wanting and receiving. Dopamine doesn't reward you for getting something. It rewards you for seeking it. The chase is the hook. The uncertainty is the trap. The anticipation is the chain. If you ever checked your phone without thinking, kept scrolling without choosing, kept waiting without knowing, your brain already touched the same mechanism that builds every addiction on the planet. Not chemicals, patterns. And once a pattern fits your weakness, your mind will return to it long after the pleasure ends.
Number 10. Addiction starts with a reward that arrives at random. He once played a game that rewarded him at unpredictable intervals. Sometimes he won, sometimes he didn't. There was no pattern. And that is the pattern. This is variable reward conditioning, the strongest psychological driver of addictive behavior. When rewards arrive randomly, the brain enters a loop of constant checking, hoping, seeking. Slot machines use it. Social media uses it. Video games use it. Casinos use it. Notifications use it. Your brain wants certainty, so randomness becomes irresistible. Human trigger. We chase what doesn't come consistently. Emotion shift, recognition to unease. You didn't enjoy the reward. You were addicted to the uncertainty.
Number 9. The brain gets addicted to the almost more than the win. He once nearly succeeded at something trivial and felt a stronger urge to try again than when he actually won. This is near-miss addiction. Casinos discovered it. Designers refined it. Apps exploit it. Games weaponize it. A near win activates the same dopamine pathways as an actual win, but keeps the mind chasing because the reward feels close. The brain interprets almost as progress, even when it isn't. Human trigger. The mind chases completion, not success. Emotion shift. Unease to doubt. You weren't encouraged, you were baited.
Number 8. The brain gets hooked on escape, not pleasure. He once opened his phone not to feel good, but to stop feeling bad. Stress, loneliness, boredom, anxiety. This is negative reinforcement addiction, when the reward is relief from discomfort. Scrolling doesn't add joy, it removes tension, briefly. And every time that tension returns, the mind runs back to this same escape route. Addiction isn't a search for pleasure, it's a search for silence. Human trigger. Escaping pain creates stronger habits than seeking pleasure. Emotion shift. Doubt to suspicion. You weren't seeking comfort, you were fleeing discomfort.
Number 7. The brain bonds to whatever breaks the silence inside you. He once felt an emptiness he couldn't explain, a quiet ache beneath every distraction. And every small stimulus, a ping, a laugh, a highlight, a notification, temporarily filled that void. This is stimulus-dependent regulation, the brain tying emotional stability to external triggers, not because the triggers feel good, but because the silence feels unbearable. Addiction grows quickest where loneliness hides deepest. Human trigger. You bond with whatever keeps you from feeling alone. Emotion shift. Suspicion to alarm. You didn't need the stimulus, you needed the absence it erased.
Number 6. The brain repeats anything that gives a sense of progress. He once refreshed a screen dozens of times simply because numbers went up. Not significantly, not meaningfully, just up. This is illusory progress addiction, when the brain becomes attached to meaningless metrics that create the feeling of improvement. Steps, likes, views, points, badges, levels. The action doesn't matter. The climb does. Human trigger. The smallest progress feels more powerful than the biggest reality. Emotion shift. Alarm to disbelief. You didn't grow, you watched numbers move.
Number 5. The brain gets addicted to loops it never notices starting. Addiction rarely begins with intention. It begins with drift. He once checked a message and ended up 40 minutes deep into unrelated content he didn't choose. This is autopilot drift, mindless repetition created by loops designed to eliminate friction. The brain follows the path of least resistance, and addictions grow fastest where resistance disappears. Human trigger. You become addicted to loops you never chose to enter. Emotion shift. Disbelief to tension. You didn't lose control. You never used it.
Number 4. The brain bonds with whatever predicts your emotions. He once realized he could predict how opening an app would make him feel, not because of the content, but because of the ritual. This is emotional prediction pairing, a mechanism where the brain sticks to anything that stabilizes mood swings. The content isn't addictive, the predictability is. Human trigger. Addiction grows where predictability comforts. Emotion shift. Tension to chill. You didn't seek excitement, you sought certainty.
Number 3. The brain reinforces whatever gives identity. Addiction isn't only chemical, it's existential. He once realized he checked something not because he needed it, but because it reminded him who he was. The achiever, the creator, the social one, the informed one, the wanted one. This is identity-based reinforcement, the brain attaching to behaviors that confirm self-image. Addictions form quickest when the behavior feels like you. Human trigger. You cling to whatever proves you exist. Emotion shift. Chill to collapse. You weren't addicted. You were maintaining identity.
Number 2. The brain returns to behaviors that once worked. He once repeated an old habit, even though it no longer helped. This is habit memory compensation. The brain repeating past coping strategies long after they stop working. Addiction lingers, not because the behavior is useful, but because it was useful once. The mind remembers relief longer than it remembers pain. Human trigger. You aren't addicted to the habit, you're addicted to the memory of what it solved. Emotion shift. Collapse to awareness. You didn't relapse, you returned to an old solution.
Number 1. Addiction is the brain's way of avoiding the present moment. The deepest truth about non-drug addiction is simple. It's not about pleasure, or relief, or comfort. It's about escape. Every addictive loop removes you from the present, from discomfort, from silence, from reflection, from responsibility, from yourself. Addiction is temporal avoidance. The brain is addicted to any behavior that keeps you away from the moment you fear facing. Human trigger. Addiction isn't attachment, it's running. Emotion shift. Awareness to quiet shock.
You weren't escaping life. You were escaping the part of it that demanded honesty. Addiction isn't a trap. It's a mirror. If a behavior came to mind while reading this, a loop, a distraction, a ritual, a craving, your brain wasn't confessing. It was recognizing itself. Addiction isn't always destructive, but it is always revealing. It shows you what you fear, what you avoid, what you seek, what you lack, what you miss, what you need. Awareness is the reset button. Not abstinence, not punishment, not guilt, just awareness. If someone you know is stuck in a loop, an algorithm, a habit, a coping mechanism, share this with them. Not to shame them, but to show them that addiction without chemicals is still addiction. And the first step is seeing the loop before it pulls you in again.